Hi everybody, and welcome back to our channel. As many of you know, we are planning to retire in Thailand, and we fielded a lot of questions from friends and family wanting to know, why would you retire in Thailand? What's there for you? So we're gonna take the dogs for a walk here and play the video and chat a little bit about why Thailand, why would we want to retire there from where we live now in Bloomington, Illinois. To get started, I think the first question that we always get is, what about your family? Aren't you going to miss your kids or your family abroad in America? And yeah, we will. I mean, that's kind of a given. We'll miss our family. We won't be there when they're having problems, or we can't run over to their house and fix their hot water heater, whatever they need. And we'll miss the times that we celebrate with them and the birthdays. But we will have our phones, and we'll Skype regularly. And that's kind of commonplace today now. I mean, everybody gets into these video chat meetings at work and with your friends, so it's pretty commonplace. And in addition to that, Julie and I are both looking at our budget and making sure that in our retirement years, we are budgeting for a trip back to the United States every year, or to bring the kids out to Thailand to visit with us every year. So it's not like we're going away forever, but we will be similar to like being on the other side of the country, but much further, right? It's the other side of the world. But I think the main reason that we're going there is the cost of living. I think the cost of living, from what we found, is a third to about as half much as the cost to live in the United States. For instance, housing. Julie's been looking a lot at houses and housing online, and while we were there, we've done 2 trips to Thailand, one recently in December and one previously 5 years before that. But the houses you looked at were, how much would you buy a house for there?
Well, they range quite a bit, but you can find housing for maybe $65,000 to $100,000 US, and rentals are much cheaper there than they are here. I found rental condos for maybe $150 to $200 a month. Some are more, but if you're living on a budget, and rental houses you can get for $300, $400 US dollars a month, which is quite a bit cheaper than what we see in Illinois.
So is that equivalent to like the neighborhood we live in now?
Pretty much,
right?
yeah.
So
yeah.
We're not moving up or moving down. It's just
maybe I'm looking at slightly smaller houses because we won't have, 3 kids living with us. This is the house we, had 3 kids growing up in. They're all grown now, but we don't need quite as much space.
Yep.
But they're in, decent looking neighborhoods, small yards, kind of similar to what we have now. It's much less expensive.
The houses are a little different there too, right? We've noticed that the bathrooms stand out as the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Plumbing seems to be an issue in some neighborhoods. They don't have the infrastructure that we do here, so there's some uniquenesses there.
Generally, they have Western toilets, but just maybe the drain in the shower doesn't always work as well as the drains here do. A couple of the hotels we've stayed at there had issues with their drains. And they just set up the bathroom a lot differently. They don't believe in shower curtains.
Yeah, they have.
The whole bathroom is the shower in a lot of cases.
We could do a whole video on what a wet bathroom is, but so yeah, there's some differences. Nothing major.
The kitchens, they have some differences in the kitchens as well. Pretty much anywhere there's plumbing, I think it's quite different. Some of them have an indoor kitchen and an outdoor kitchen, so that you don't smoke up your house when you're making Thai food. But it's just a lot of variety in how their houses are set up.
Now, we can't own a house there, right, because of the visa that we're going on. Well, it's a retirement visa.
Just being a foreigner.
Correct.
Any foreigners.
Right.
Unless you're married to a Thai person, you're not going to.
Right. But we can't purchase a house. We can't purchase property. We can own a condo. We can purchase a condo and live in a condo. Mm-hmm. But real estate, as is defined here, the property.
The land itself has to be owned by Thai people.
But we can rent a house.
Correct.
Right. So That's we're looking for equivalent to what we have today. One of the things, speaking of housing, our budget, we might be able to afford what's called a Maybon, which is kind of exciting for us. That would be a housekeeper, somebody that could live in the house and take care of it and help us with the dogs if we want to travel at all, which is something not common here in the West, but it's something that we would look forward to. Is clothing and shoes are different there. They're a lot cheaper. You can get pants and shoes and shirts cheaper, but the sizes are much smaller.
Yeah.
I know you had difficulty looking for shoes last time we were there that fit your feet, and I had problems finding shirts that fit me. And you guys know I'm a big guy, so looks like I'll have to shed some pounds when I get there if I want to buy clothes there.
I can't shed my feet though.
You can't put your feet down. No, no.
I'll have to maybe order shoes online or shop while I'm, visiting the kids or something.
Speaking of money and buying things, I know the cost to get your money over there, there's fees and transaction costs. So that's one of the drawbacks living abroad is you don't have access to your banks like you do here where you can just withdraw. You have to transfer. If we keep our money in a US bank, we have to transfer it to a Thai bank to get our money out. And there's fees involved with that, right? Everybody wants to get paid for their services. But on the other hand, the price for like a massage, we had several massages while we were there. We had a 2-hour Thai massage that was $17. So we were doing a lot of massages while we were there. The other thing, as far as costs go, there is what they call the Thai pricing versus foreigner pricing. If you go to a state park, Thai people can generally get in for free or for
Reduced, very reduced.
very reduced price. Foreigners are going to have to pay a couple dollars to get into a national park. And I'm okay with that. I know in a lot of national parks here, we have to pay to get in. So it's nothing.
That goes for museums and things too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would just be out of their price range if they priced it the same for everybody, I think. The Thai people wouldn't be able to go to their own museums. And
some people view that as a drawback. I just see it as a cost of enjoying a park.
yeah.
One of the other, I'm going to switch topics to one of the positive things that we see in Thailand is they have very good health care there. Let's start off with, we know when we move over there that Medicare won't be available, and we're going to have some form of private insurance. I've looked at several different insurance plans, and they are much cheaper than you would get in the U.S., and they provide more coverage than what we get here with our standard health insurance plans that we would have. The overall cost, though, for medical is a lot cheaper. I know you had a discussion, Julie, with somebody about dental costs and what that was.
Yeah, there's a couple that we know in Chiang Mai that they've lived there for a couple of years now. And they were saying that when they went to the dentist for their annual checkup and cleaning, they paid around $25. And they said that the care that they got was actually better than what they had been getting in the US. So they were really happy with that. And I've just followed a couple other YouTubers that have shared some of their experiences with going to hospitals and whatnot. And they say that the care that they get is just as good as what they ever got in the US and much cheaper. And they said that the medical staff all speaks English, so they didn't see any problems with getting medical care there.
And then glasses.
Yeah, there was a guy telling me about the experience getting glasses there. He would go in the morning for his appointment with the doctor, and then he goes back in the afternoon and picks up his glasses ready to go, which isn't the case for us here in Bloomington. We've usually got about a 2-week wait to get our glasses, it seems like, and quite a bit more expensive.
So I think healthcare is the big question, right? You don't know what you're going to need in the future. You just know you're going to need some. So that weighed in picking a location, Thailand versus other countries. Let me talk about the people. From the visits we've had to Thailand, people are extremely friendly. It's known as the land of smiles. They're very helpful. And if you try to speak Thai and you mess it up like I do, they're very patient. Sign language, pointing at stuff and holding up three fingers, and that works. Eventually, I will have to speak the language, which is, I find, very difficult. I struggle with language. Julie seems to do better with languages than I do, and she's been studying diligently for about a year and a half. You would rate your level at what, like junior high, maybe?
Maybe.
You were having some conversations while we were there, small ones.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on reading and writing, but actually speaking to Thai people, I don't get too much chance to do that. So it's still hard to pick up what they're saying because it's a tonal language and some of them speak very fast. But reading and writing, I'm getting the hang of, and I'm hoping Keith will learn that as well.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. Also, we know some people in Thailand, so we're not going there blind. We'll have people there that we can reach out to, and I'm sure would help us with some of the issues that we're going to run into just on an everyday thing. So that's a little comforting for us. The people I would say are conservative in nature. I know that there's a stereotypical view of some Thai, which is kind of like our Las Vegas. And I don't know if that's fair either. It would be if a foreigner came to the U.S. and only went to Las Vegas and judged everything American based on Las Vegas. So I know that there's parts of Thailand that are that people like to party and they have fun there, and that's not why we're headed there. Overall, the country is beautiful. I love the country, the landscape, the place where we're going to, and we can talk a little bit more about that later. They have gorgeous mountains in northern Thailand. In the south, they have beautiful beaches, some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. They have very diverse wildlife throughout Thailand. Some pros and cons there. If you guys know me, I'm afraid of snakes. They're okay when they're a few feet away and doing their thing, but I don't want them near me. And Julie's kind of like that with lizards. So, and that,
Getting better with that.
you're getting better.
I talked to my therapist for a few months about how to deal with the lizards there because I didn't want to be jumping every time I saw one, and so that helped a lot. There are also scorpions, something they call soy dogs, which you could call a street dog, and those are kind of everywhere. So
Yeah, in the city, we saw
deal with
cats
those.
everywhere.
There's
So,
a lot of mice.
but yeah, there's plenty of animals. We heard monkeys and some minor birds that imitated monkeys, and they would kind of freak me out a little bit. And the odd thing that just caught me off guard was chickens were everywhere. There's wild chickens in just about every part of the country. So that was interesting. We could do a whole video on chickens. I think between the pictures and videos that captured of chickens. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. We talked about the oceans. I love the beaches there. They have different types of beaches. They have that beautiful white sand beach, crystal clear blue water.
Waterfalls,
There's
caves, kind of an adventure around every corner. I mean, we have all those things in the U.S., but just it's condensed into a smaller area.
And you can see why a lot of movies are made there.
Right.
It's just an incredible
Beautiful.
place. Let's talk about the food differences. Julie and I are kind of adventurous in our food palates. We always like to try new stuff, and Thailand is no different than the U.S. is the various types of foods they have. It's just different ingredients and different ways to cook it. So for us, it's an adventure right there. Eating out is cheaper.
Quite a bit cheaper.
Yep, you can go get street food. There's vendors with carts out on the street, and you can eat from them. And I think those are just as safe as eating in a restaurant here. Or you can sit down at a restaurant. Either way, it's still cheaper than it is in the U.S. We went to a grocery store equivalent to like a Hy-Vee here, where they have a little food court inside the grocery store. Julie and I were bopping around the grocery store and took a look at getting some lunch there. And we had, I forget what we ate, but we got 2 big plates of food, and it was like $1.50 or $1.70, including our drinks. So, and it was really good food. Also, you can get for your daily grocery shopping, you could go to one of the markets. It's think of like a farmer's market, but they just call it an open air market. And there's plenty of fresh produce that was just grown or meats. They have markets that are just flowers, and some of the work that they do in there is just beautiful. In addition to these open air markets, they also have what we Westerners would consider a regular grocery store, equivalent to like a Walmart or a Hy-Vee.
Or Stop and Shop.
Stop and Shop, right? We can just name them all, right? All the
Part of the country you're in, you might not know Hy-Vee, but or Stop and Shop.
So they have those there, and we went through those. Prices were about a little cheaper than here. We may not be able to find all the comfort foods that we're used to here. You'd have to go to the import section to find some of the American foods that we like, but for the most part, I think we'd be fine with that. The food selection that we can get. One of the big negatives that I noticed, and I know Julie noticed there, and it was all over in the cities, was traffic congestion. Is very different than it is in the U.S. We have it here, but it's different than it is there. A lot of people ride motorcycles. They split lanes. When you come up to a red light, it's not uncommon to have 15, 20 motorcycles all bunched up at the stoplight. And when it goes green, you got to let the motorcycles go before you can start to move out. It's not uncommon to see 5 people on a motorcycle, mom, dad, and the kids all there. So, and they're all on one bike, and sometimes holding a dog on top of that. So it's a little different. Going through crosswalks, you definitely have to pay attention. Even if it's a lighted crosswalk, people blast through those. So the traveling on the streets there is very different. You definitely got to be aware. Let's talk about the city that we want to move to, Chiang Mai, which is northern Thailand. Thailand's a very long country. If you pull it on a map and take a look, Chiang Mai's in the northwestern part of the country, based around some mountains. And it is a beautiful, beautiful city, very old city. Overall, we consider it a very safe city. They do have cameras all over. The police have cameras set up all over, and they're pretty diligent about staying on top of crime. So it's a safe city. It's filled with arts and crafts. That's what the city's known for. A lot of artists go there. There's always festivals going on.
But it's pretty laid back for the most part. It's very relaxed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The temple.
Temples. There are so many temples there. And you were saying.
I think I'd heard there were over 300 in the city, and maybe it was over 100 in the old city, which is just a small part of the city. And they're all beautiful, and you could spend just hours in them. They're very relaxing. And
it's crazy because you could be in the middle of the city where it's noisy street traffic, and you walk into one of these temples and it's quiet.
It is.
You rarely hear the street noise. So it's definitely
and they're all kind of unique. They each have their own, things going on, and pretty interesting to go to.
Yeah. And one of the things that Chiang Mai suffers from as a negative is what they call smoky season. And smoky season is when the farmers in neighboring areas burn their crops. All that smoke tends to run into Chiang Mai, and because it's around mountains, it just sits there. So the air quality can go down for a couple of months. And they call that smoky season.
And it's happening now. If you watch videos from people that are there now, they are all bringing up the smoky season and talking about how much per, what is it?
Parts per million. Yeah.
They all bring up, how bad it is that day. And you can just see the mountains have disappeared and it looks hazy. And
I've seen some smog in some cities that's almost as bad, but
yeah.
But overall, for the most part, It's gorgeous. They have, within the mountains, there's rivers and waterfalls, hiking trails, everything you could want from a park or any kind of tourist destination. I don't know, I hope that answers most of the questions that people have asked us. I don't know.
Oh, and then the English also. They do speak English at a lot of, public places in Chiang Mai. If you go to the market or something, they'll speak enough English that you can make a transaction without any problem, or any of the stores. Some of the other towns around there, I think it would be more difficult.
Very limited.
But yeah, Bangkok and Chiang Mai both are pretty well known for being able to speak English well enough to get by. Or well enough for us to get by. So.
Well, I think this answered most of the questions we've received. So if you have more questions, definitely drop it in the comments. If you found this video entertaining or informative, definitely like the video and subscribe to us if you want to see more content like this. You all take it easy. Bye-bye.